This is the plaintiff, Chantel Shakes. She says she put a phone in her name for the defendant because she's a nice person and she wanted to help someone out in their time of need. The woman paid the first bill but never paid a dime after that. She also stopped taking her calls and her texts. And now things are really turning nasty between them. The defendant even called her job and tried to get her fired. Bottom line, she needs the judge's help now more than ever and is suing for the $4,192.23 she's owed. This is the defendant, Nellie. She says the plaintiff was not paying her share of the bill. Every time she went to the phone store to make a payment, the guy told her the balance was still over $700. The plaintiff ended up cutting off her line, and that's when she stopped talking to her. The woman's as spiteful as they come. She's harassing her mercilessly, and she thinks the judge will rule in her favor and the plaintiff will leave with nothing. She's accused of not phoning a friend. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $5,000 for phone accessories and harassment.
All parties, please raise your right hands. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
Welcome,
Chantel Shakes?
Yes.
You are suing Nellie, you've asked to be referred to only by the name Nellie, for $4,192.23. $692.23 of it, an amount that you say she owes you on the phone bill. $1,000 for defamation, $1,000 for trying to get you fired, and $1,500 for having you falsely arrested. You have a counterclaim against her for $240 for the cost of phone and accessories that she reported as stolen, so you can't use them now, and $4,760, I guess, to bring you to the $5,000 maximum for harassment. Okay, what's going on?
Her daughter and my daughter goes to the same school. They're in the same class. That's how.
Oh, that's gotta be awkward for them.
That's how we met each other. We started hanging around, you know, we was like going to the mall and stuff like that. 2 days before my birthday, which is November 17th, I bought me a phone. We was on Jamaica Avenue and I passed the Sprint store. We went in the phone store. I bought me a Galaxy 3. Within like 2 days after, we came back because I was able to get 2 more lines under my account.
So no reason to waste that. Let's make sure we just spread it around and get it and be responsible for other people's payments.
So I put 2 lines in my name, which was a cell phone and a house phone for her.
For her?
Yes. The agreement was...
But why? Whose idea was that?
The rep in the store suggested the idea.
Oh, sure, because he gets paid by how many accounts he signs up.
Yeah, so...
what could go wrong? Wait, are you too cool? Oh, if you two are cool, then maybe you should get a phone line in her name since you're cool.
That's exactly how it went.
Oh, it is exactly how it went?
That's exactly how it went.
Okay,
oh, it's like I've been here before.
The agreement was she pays
and she's supposed to pay it, and yes. According to you, did she pay it?
The first month, which she did give me $200 for the first month. After that, she stopped calling me, I stopped calling her, but it was nothing if she still paid the bill. I never turned the phone off.
Why did you two have a falling out?
Because it was people in the school, individuals in the school, they were saying he say, she say stuff.
Do you understand that's not an answer? Why did you two have a falling out?
We had a falling out because there were some discussions and stuff that was going on in the school, and Chantel was involved in the discussions that was going on. So when Chantel called me to let me know that people was talking about me in the school, she told me everything that everybody else said, but she neglected to tell me what she said. So once I got the total story, and then I called her, because at that time she was calling me to figure out what was going on, but I already heard the rest of the gist of it. I called her and I asked her, well, you telling me everything everybody else said. What did you say to defend me as your friend? No. She said nothing. She actually continued in the conversation.
We're just talking about gossip?
Huh?
We're talking about gossip?
Yeah, we're talking about gossip. About
a bunch of parents
in the school sitting around talking, and she overheard some things that was said about me. So you got mad at her
or something like that. All right, and then what happened?
After that, I left the situation alone. We stopped talking, whatever it was.
Did she pay any payments after that?
No, I called her, texted her, she didn't answer. One day I saw her at on a bus stop. I came up to her, I said, Nellie, what's going on with the bill? Are you gonna pay it? I said, you're a grown lady. I don't feel like I should pay for your usage, which in the beginning you said that you would pay the bill. She said, oh, my daughter has to use the bathroom. She ran in Dunkin' Donuts. So I went in Dunkin' Donuts behind her. I waited for her daughter to come out, for her to come out the restroom. She stands online and she's ordered something. I said, Nellie, what's going on with the bill? Let me know something. She said, she didn't tell you know what? I'm going to pay for the bill. She said, I'm going to give you a call tonight. She didn't call me. I wound up calling her. She tells me she got another phone. I said, how did you get another phone under my account without my approval?
What do you mean she got another phone?
She said that she bought another phone. I don't know what phone it is.
What phone was the upgrade from the Samsung Galaxy?
I have no idea.
All right, so go on.
She said she was going to take the phone out of my name and put it in her name. I said, that's fine, as long as you pay the bill. I have text messages saying that she said that. I said, fine, as long as you pay the bill. I let 2 weeks, a week and a half go by. She's still not answering the calls, still not answering calls. I called her in front of the school, and I was getting into my car. I got out my car and said, Nelly, what's going on with the bill again? Are you going to pay the bill? She didn't say anything.
Okay, what's going on? Are you paying the bill or aren't you? Because I can't keep hearing this.
I made a $200 payment.
She acknowledges that. Did you make any payments after the $200?
No.
Okay. Why? Because she was trash talking about you?
Because all of our phones would end up getting cut off anyway. Let me give you some history. Like she said, my daughter and her daughter was best of friends. That's how we kind of got close. We'll go, we get something to eat, we run around, we do little stuff, like she said, shopping and stuff like that. Now, as far as the phone bill is concerned, I went into the Sprint store to get the Galaxy on my own. She wasn't even interested in getting a phone. When we got to the store and the representative explained to her that that week they was doing a special and they had the Galaxy 3s for $49.99, she was like, if you get it, I'm going to get it.
That's all right.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So the rep was like, well, you know, if you guys are cool. Like
that's really the phrase you used?
You could just get it. And she was like, all right, you want to get it? You want to get it? No problem. We looked at the time. It was time to go get our kids from school. She was like, you know what? I'm going to go and pick the kids up. I stayed in the store. And the lady activated my line. I got a house line, which was $20 a month, and then I got my Galaxy 3.
Okay. Why didn't you pay it after the first $200?
Because when she came to me and approached me about the bill, I knew that at that time I had owed $104.99 for the bill, and I told her, I said, I will pay you for the bill. But you
didn't. Now there's a cancellation fee, so now the one something is a much bigger.
Phone.
No, you don't have to ask. If you don't pay, I'm gonna cancel your phone. That's what a person who puts a phone bill in your name and you don't pay, you've breached a contract. I now have to mitigate my damages. Otherwise, it makes sense for you to keep using the phone and not paying. Because if you didn't pay this month, you're certainly not gonna pay the next month, and you're not gonna pay the month after that. So I gotta jettison you off my phone plan so that I don't keep racking up bucks.
Exactly.
Okay, if you don't pay the bill, they're gonna cut you off.
Exactly.
Okay.
But now we had a situation that even if I did pay the bill, it was still going to get cut off because she had a 60-day past due bill. She had a bill before I even got on the account. It was 60 days past due, and I have a text message up. I mean, not a text message, a picture of it, because when I went to the Sprint store to pay the bill the first time, it said $740.
$740?
$740. When I went to the Sprint store the second time after she asked me to pay the $104.99, I screenshot the screen that said,
let me see.
This,
do you have the phone bill? Why do you have only parts, bits and pieces of your phone bill? Because it does sound, if I see that and that's a bit and piece, you're not bringing it, kind of looks like you're hiding it.
The reason why I cannot print it out is because I switched over to T-Mobile. Now I don't no longer have Sprint. So I don't
what?
have
You just call Sprint and you get it?
Yeah, they told me that it takes 7 to 10 business days. But I did have a past due, but my past due bill has nothing to do with her.
Yeah, give me what you do have. The difference is that if you also are not paying your bill, then she doesn't eat the whole cancellation fee because you were going to get canceled anyway, and that would be your charges as well. You don't have the date on this screenshot?
The January 29th is that screenshot.
It's the same one.
I could
pay by 2/17/13, so it's already overdue then. 5488.
Yeah, there's two screenshots. One that shows that the bill, there was a 30-day past due and a 60-day past due, which was prior to me getting a phone.
Have her bring it up.
All right.
So what's the defamation of character, trying to get you fired and getting you falsely arrested?
Okay, now
we
after I cut off the phone, because I have to cut off the phone because I use basically my phone for my job.
So you had to cut off the phone. What does that have to do with anything?
Because when I disconnected her line, my phone was never going to get disconnected. You have to call Sprint.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So when you disconnected, you only disconnected her line.
I only disconnected her lines. My phone was still on.
And has your phone ever been turned off?
My phone has not been turned off.
Wait a minute. Did you cancel that phone?
Yeah, I did it myself personally.
You canceled it?
Yes, I went to another company.
You canceled both lines?
I canceled her both lines. What I did was I just went to T-Mobile and carried my number over to T-Mobile. And I'm going to have a bill. Sprint is going to send me a bill.
You know what? This is easy. We're going to take a recess. I want to see the whole bill. I want to see if a cancellation fee has something to do. I agree with you. If you use something, you got to pay for your usage. That there's no question about. But there's more that you're suing for besides a usage. Actually, before we take a recess, I want to understand the following. You're suing for $1,000 for defamation of character, $1,000 for her trying to get you fired, and $1,500 for getting you false falsely arrested. Tell me about the defamation of character first.
Okay. A week later, a week and a half later, she calls my job and she makes a false complaint saying that I'm not giving my patients the proper care that they need, and I'm also forging on my timesheets and other things that she says.
Did you do that?
So
No, I
what
did not
happened?
say that.
How do you think? Why do you think
what
it's her?
happened was when I went, they called me down to have a conference with me or whatever. So I came in the room, I sat down. The lady she kept in the HR office kept hitting the paper. I told the lady, I said, "Excuse me, miss." I said, I know the lady that, called and made the report. I said, me and her used to be friends, and I told her about the phone bill.
Okay, so the bottom line is, though, when you told her, I know that complainant,
Yes.
she's got an axe to grind because we have a separate problem, that was the end of it, correct?
Yes.
Okay, now tell me about the defamation of character. Is that same thing?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
and $1,500 for having you falsely arrested. You were arrested?
Yes.
For what?
She says that I harassed her, and she said that I harassed her. So that's why they arrested me. But
Yeah, but what? Let me see the charging documents against
yeah,
you.
I got a DAT.
Did you file a complaint against her?
Yes, I did.
For what?
For aggravated
Are your
harassment.
kids still in the same class?
Our kids were still in the same class.
And are
That's
they
why
still
I was
friends?
disgusted. They are still friends, even though Miss
How
Chantel
old
asked
are
her
your
daughter
children?
not to speak to my child and
How
not to
old are
share
your
snacks with
children?
her.
4. They're gonna
Oh my gosh.
4.
Man, you guys can't even be civil for your
I was
children's
being civil,
sake?
Judge Milian. I was being
When
civil.
were you being civil? When you
The
marched
whole
down to the
entire
police
time.
department?
No, that was my last resort. I marched down to the
Because
police
what?
department
What did she
in
do to you
April.
that made you go down and file a complaint?
Like she said earlier, I'm standing at the bus stop with my kids I'm gonna put money in the bank. She pulls up 60 miles an hour in a truck, slams on her brakes when she see me. Nelly! Boom, slam the door. Nelly, you gonna pay this? I said, Chantel, are you gonna talk to me? Because I'm not gonna stand out here and scream at you. I'm gonna say what I wanna say because I'm grown and you're grown. I just wanna talk about the phone bill. I said, if you wanna talk to me. She's still screaming. My daughter's standing into the pee-pee dance. I said, you know what, wait right here, I'm gonna take her to the bathroom. She follows me in Dunkin' Donuts. Hello? Yeah. She here? No, I'm waiting for her to get out the bathroom. I wish she would. No, she gonna talk to me and she gonna pay this bill. I wish she would. I come out the bathroom. Can I talk to you? I say, you still not talking. She's screaming and she followed me a half a block to Dunkin' Donuts. Get in the car, Mariah. Now she don't want her daughter talking to my daughter. And they best friends.
Why wouldn't you just pay the $100?
It's
Why wouldn't you just pay it?
I can tell you
minutes you
right
use.
now. I can tell you I owe the $104.99. But when I went into
the phone's gonna get
me and I
canceled,
even
and you're
agreed.
all, if not half, all, depending on what I see, of cancellation fees.
I didn't ask her to cancel the phone.
It doesn't matter. She's gonna cancel the phone if you
I
don't
understand
pay.
that.
But what I don't understand is you're describing something that's so unpleasant, so awful for your children to go through, and you're literally playing the angle of, you know what, you owed some money, so it's gonna get canceled anyway, so neither one of us will pay. And I'm not gonna pay my part out, I'll just keep using a free phone. What? It's been disconnected? Didn't see that coming. It's crazy. You made $100 and something problem into this magnificent $5,000. Everybody's suing each other, and it's a big fat. Oh boy! If the ladies at school were talking before, you better believe they're talking now.
You sure?
Because it's not just a federal case in your school and in your lives. You have now brought it to the people's court. Now it's the nation's federal case.
Yes, it is.
Nice job.
Yes, it
nice job. Your lovely little 4-year-old girls can't be friends in peace. And all this really over the $100 and something bill. And your answer is, she's harassing me. I'm going to the cops because she's trying to collect on her bill. So you get arrested. And what's going on with this case? Did you get a public defender?
No, I didn't need one. They just gave me an order of protection. I explained that our kids went to the same school.
So you have an order of protection against her.
She has the order of protection against me.
Do you? Oh, they served the order of protection.
Exactly, because I had to go to the court case, the court date.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Now you have a counterclaim against her for $5,000. Tell me about it.
That's my harassment suit. So I don't know if I should start from the beginning.
She went
or
into
just
the
give you what
Dunkin'
you want.
Donuts and asked you to pay?
Not just
and
that.
Yelled at you?
Not just that. She went into the school. This is something that has nothing to do with the school. She went into the school to the parent coordinator office and exposed this whole entire bill to 45 people, anybody that would listen. She went to my kid's classroom and spoke to parents about it. She went in front of the school and stood and waited for me and screamed, cursed, and shouted about it. The day after she got arrested, she went to the principal's office and sat down with him and gave him an hour story about it. And he sent me an email saying that she came in.
It's so simple. Just pay, if you had just paid the $100 and something, none of
Judge Milian, we came to an agreement. I told her, go with me to the Sprint store. I'm going to pay the $104.99 and I'm going to put the phones in my name. She didn't want to do that.
Did she offer to do that?
Yes, she did. But when she did say that, we was in front of the school. I said, what time do you want to go to Sprint? She said, Saturday. I said, Saturday? What time you want to meet me there when it opened? But when I was going to go, she texted me and she said, you know what, forget it. She's not going. I have a text message in my phone.
Let me see it. Why did you text her and say you
I wasn't going to be able to make it at that time.
I see.
I told her
she didn't want to do it, but you didn't show up.
I told her I wasn't going to be there when it opened. I just texted her to let her know I wasn't going to be there when it opened.
Okay. You know what?
She can show you
Honest
the text
to God,
messages.
just both of you stop. Get the bill. Court's in recess.
All rise.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Would you put the phone of your best friend in your name? Ma'am.
No, I wouldn't.
Why?
Because it's a best friend and I don't want to ruin the best friendship.
Yeah, but the best friend is saying, I need the phone. Help me out.
No way.
You just wouldn't do it.
No chance, no.
What if the best friend said, if you don't do it, you're not my best friend anymore?
Then they're not.
Huh?
Then they're not my best friend anymore.
That's actually a very good answer going inside the courtroom.
All right. So you were able to get the full statements, correct? All right. And I was able to go through them item by item. I find it quite sad and quite pathetic that two people who had a connection through your lovely, beautiful little 4-year-old girls who want to still be friends would end up allowing this to spiral into such a magnificent catastrophe. If you toma chocolate, paga lo que debe. You order a hot chocolate, you pay for the hot chocolate. She's right. I looked through everything to make sure she wasn't lying to me, and there is no cancellation on her phone. So now your $100 and something problem adds an additional $300 to it because you're supposed to have a line for a certain amount of time. And so that's why there's a cancellation fee on 2 lines because that's what you had. That's not quite the figures that you have. And I took quite some time to go through it. But having gone through all of this, what I find she owes on the phone bill is $463.36. That's what you owe on the phone bill. None of this should have gotten to the stage that it got there to, including you, because now here you are and you're facing criminal charges. I mean, could any of you imagine it was going to get like this when y'all were shopping, killing time between the dance class? I would expect you both to be better mothers than this and better role models for your kids. You have a criminal case that's still pending. You can't sue for false arrest because one of the elements of false arrest is that the case was successfully concluded in your favor. It was dropped. And you can't prove that yet because the case is still pending. I am dismissing that charge without prejudice. That means that you can bring that charge again at some future time, okay? As for your other claims for $1,000 for defamation of character and $1,000 for trying to get you fired and your harassment claim against her, oh, this is interesting. $240 cost of phone and accessories. What does that mean?
No, it wasn't $240. It was $183.66.
Right.
Because she didn't cancel the line initially. She restricted the phone line this way. I couldn't make phone calls and I couldn't receive phone calls, which is why I was disputing what she said I owed.
Did you pay your bill?
$104.99, no. But she reported my phone lost or stolen to the point where I can't even use it no more. It doesn't
when did you report it lost or stolen or restricted or whatever else? When did you do that?
She canceled the line.
She did not pay the bill.
After she didn't pay the bill.
No,
these are all things that happen when a small problem is turned into a big problem. Yeah, that's what happens. All right, I am finding in favor, on your lawsuit against her, 0. And her lawsuit against you, I am finding in her favor in the amount of $463.36 and dismissing the false arrest count for you to bring up at a later time if you can in fact prove the elements. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
All right, so the plaintiff has collected a little bit. We'll talk to her in a moment. The defendant right here, what's your reaction to this?
I guess common sense ain't too common these days.
Can you believe this got so big between the two of you?
I couldn't believe it, and I tried to avoid it as much as I could, which is why I had to result going to the police, because it wasn't going away. Just as time went by, it got worse.
Don't you wish you just paid it and avoided all this?
No. I wish we could have been civil about it.
Okay,
Thank
very
you.
good. Fair enough. All right, so step on in here. You sued for a lot, and you wind up with $463 and some cents. How do you feel about this?
I'm fine. I'm happy it's over.
Are you amazed at how this blew up into a big case for $4,000 on your side, harassment on her side, and facing criminal charges?
Yes, yes.
How did that happen?
This is what happens when you're nice to people.
What do you think, Harvey?
Everybody behind me is absolutely right. Never, ever, ever do this. You will not only lose your best friend, you're going to create a war. You put somebody, if they need you to put a phone in your name for them, it means there's something wrong with their finances and you are asking for trouble. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.